Hello everybody, finally Venom build is out of my way so I can start to work on a couple other projects that I wanted to start for a while. One of the things I want to do, I want to start some testing again. It was a while since I checked a couple things and I have a couple unanswered questions that I actually want to answer for myself, and I'll show you the final result. The other thing is that I want to start a new build, obviously, and this is a micro-ATX build based on Caselabs S3 custom paint case. Anybody who followed my channel already knows that we have some painting tutorial going on. It's not ready. The thing that is done for me, it's a big favor in a way, and so things can't be rushed, and it's ready when it's ready. But I would like to start collecting certain computer parts, so when the case arrives, I will be able to start building without too much delay. So a few things I also would like to do differently in this particular build. One, I hope I wouldn't build it for 1 year, so we'll see how that goes. But second, I constantly asked how much this build costs, how much that costs, and things like this. And the honest answer, I have no clue. I don't even know how much money I put in Venom, and probably if my wife would know, she would do something bad to me. But this time this mini ITX build, it shouldn't be that expensive, so I can take a risk and show you what exactly it's cost to build. So we will count every piece of hardware we'll purchase for this computer, and we'll get some total in the end. I think this will be an interesting experience. So far we have this Intel i5 4670K CPU that I'm going to use in my build. And the second electronic part that I got was sponsored for me by Gigabyte USA. It was very nice to do that, so from their side. And this is a Z87N-Wifi motherboard. Well, although I didn't pay a cent for it, it's very well known how much it costs. So if you go on Newegg or any other retailer who sells them, you will see that this board is retails about $139. So far we have two components in, and we count case and how much it was painted in the time when the actual case arrived. But for now, in this particular video, I would like to look on this motherboard. It looks very interesting. Traditionally, any computer enthusiast naturally leaning towards much bigger motherboard and you know, XL and at least full ATX form factor, and it's actually had much more sense in the past, because smaller motherboard usually lacking a lot of features, and you don't want to lose those features, so you better to get a little bit bigger. But technology changes, everything goes into miniaturization route, so to speak, and looking at this motherboard, it actually starts making much more sense. Maybe it's not the choice as a micro ITX form factor still for the people who are going through crazy overclocking experience, which we'll check out when we finish this build. But in terms of the features packed in this board, is actually pretty impressive. So let's do a small unboxing of that product, and also we'll look at a couple of features that we can get out of this part. Alright, let's have a look what kind of goodies we have here. This is how boxes look like. Very compact. If you look on my rate card from my Venom build, you can see it's much bigger than this packaging. So the board itself only 17 by 17 centimeters. So if we open it up, we can see that it's packed very tightly. Not much protection at all, but it's not supposed probably to ship right in the box. So quickly, what kind of goodies we have in retail packaging? Obviously, a couple books. We lost a CD-ROM with the drivers, and we have our shield, which is, look, it's black, which is great. That's now most vendors, and Gigabyte specifically, issuing those ear shields with a black color, so it doesn't it blends the best with other things that you usually have. Most cases are black. So this is SATA cables, not a big deal, and this is antenna for our Wi-Fi. So that's all we have. Let's don't go a lot about packaging and look on the motherboard itself, which is much more interesting. much more interesting thing. Look how tiny this thing is. It's unbelievable. There's a hard drive cage right there. Yeah. All right. Anyways, this motherboard in front of us is a member of Gigabyte's latest 8 series of motherboards that based on Z87 chipset and support LJ1150 socket with the newest Intel processors. What we're going to use here is i5 4670K that I'm going to put on this motherboard. We will water cool it and see how far we can push it in terms of overclocking. One additional remark I would like to make about Gigabyte boards in general. Gigabyte likes to emphasize that they use ultra-durable technology in their motherboards, and 8 series introduced version 4+. This is sort of a blend between high-quality PCB and carefully selected components that give you final results that boards last longer and runs cooler and work better, basically, which is always sounds more like a marketing fad, and I always look on those things more like, okay, whatever, you have to say that you better than the competitors as part of your job. But after using Gigabyte products for quite a few years at this point, and I use Gigabyte and Asus mostly, so I would say I would compare those two because I have most of number of boards I went through in my life. And I would say that Gigabyte actually has less hardware failures than, let's say, I had Asus in my personal luck. So I'm actually starting believing that Gigabyte actually probably they truly put certain thought and effort in order to make that their boards is pretty solid running. So, anyways, that's you might agree or disagree with me, and probably I will get a number of flame right now in the comment section. But that's I'm speaking my personal experience without like pushing anything right there. So let's look on this thing. It's really tiny, and a few things that I would like to look on you that I'll make a comment that let's look on I/O portion of the motherboard and see how much stuff we actually have right out of the board. One of the things that I really love is that Gigabyte, in spite of this micro ITX form factor, they still give you 2 network ports, which is really great. So there's a number of things or situations when you have to use 2 ports when you, let's say, you want to configure some networking device and you don't want to disconnect your computer from your network at this point. So this is a quite high feature that I'm personally regard really like on a high level. Another interesting feature that I found of the Gigabyte website, they're saying they're using separate fuse for every single USB port. I never burned USB port in my life, but what they're saying is that usually you have 1 fuse per group of USB ports. So if something happened, like bad stuff happened, so that you're basically losing entire your USB cluster. And this particular 8 series of motherboard, including this little one, actually you can burn every port one by one. So you burn one, you still have other 3 working, which is quite interesting feature. As I said again, I never experienced burning USB myself, but if things come to worse, it's give you a little bit better chances to continue to work. Woo! That was power outage because we have a thunderstorm outside. I hope I can finish this review before I lost power completely, otherwise I have to do it in the dark on a battery. So we have USB count as following: 4 USB 3, 2 USB 2. Total number of ports is 6, which is good for such a small board. You have no compromise in that department. I always running out of enough USB ports in my particular life because I like to connect all kind of cables I have. I don't like to switch them in and out. And this is very good feature in my department. In terms of audio outputs, we have a traditional jack, so you can put your speakers, but also it's an optical output as well. So this is good when you build home theater type of setup, so we can feed high quality optical signal to your receiver, have a good sound for your movies or music, whatever you are using computer for. So this is a very important feature that was not missed. Those 2 things is your connections for antenna for wireless card. The wireless card is not built in this particular board. This is an add-on card right here, the same type what we have in most of the notebooks. So if you kind of paranoid that you have too much radiation coming out of your computer, you can unscrew one screw and take card out, and you lose your wireless capability, but also nothing coming out if you want to go this route. Going further, we have quite a variety for your outputs for the monitors. We have two HDMI ports, which supports whopping resolution of 4096 by 2160, and we have one DVI-I port which supports 1920 by 1200. And the last but not least, you still have PS2 connector, so you have your old mechanical PS2 based keyboard, you still can plug it and use it. Believe it or not, I have 10 years old keyboard which just beats anything that's made right now out of the market. And you can see there's two colored because actually you can use a proper splitter. You can run both PS2 mouse and the motherboard out of this connector. Traditionally for micro-ITX board we have only two slots for the memory modules. This is DDR3 1600 type of RAM. Gigabyte says that it can be overclocked to 2900, and that's something that I can't verify to you right now, but we'll see. And we were speaking about our 8.1 channel audio and this little chip that what is driving entire thing, and this is our connector from other side of the motherboard. In terms of SATA power, this is actually quite impressive from my point of view. We have 4 ports here. It's SATA 3, 6 gigabit per second type of the port, and obviously it's more or less expected that they can run in RAID 0 and RAID 1 type of configuration. But it also can run in RAID 5 or 10, which I wouldn't expect from micro-ITX type of the motherboard. So this is quite an interesting feature in my department. A little confused things, but there's still a couple components worthwhile mentioning. On this board we have a single PCI Express slot which allows us to run only single card, but it's on a full 16 type speed, which is really great. We have our dual BIOS setup, in spite of the board will be pretty small, so there's 2 chips holding our BIOSes readings, and couple headers for the fans. I have one here and one somewhere here, so it's PWM management 4-pin type of connector. So if you want to run your PWM management pump or any other device off the board, it's still possible, which is great. We have our connectors for this is for front panel, all this reset and other buttons and stuff like this, and our USB 3 connector, so it goes again to the front of the case. So overall, that's how the board looks from the one side, and this is how the board looks on the other side. I didn't show you yet. So all good black colors. This will perfectly fit my build, which is painted in a shot of Mocha color, which is kind of brown metallic type of the board, case. So hopefully I'll get it soon. We can start working on our build pretty shortly. Overall, this is very interesting board. It's such a small thing and so many features packed in it, so technology is definitely moving faster and faster. Before you would have a full-blown huge board to have all those features. So I'm looking forward to start actually work on this particular product, to add my CPU, see how much we can push it and what kind of performance we get of the product itself. I would like to thank you Gigabyte for providing this sample. This is one of the first examples. It just started getting into a retailer side, so I'm a little bit ahead of curve, but well, that allows you also to know what you're getting if you decide to go for this particular product. All right, and t-shirt I didn't get from Gigabyte, I got it from OCN LAN party, but I decided to wear it because I'm looking for Gigabyte product. So hopefully no complaints on that department. All right, okay guys, thank you for watching DazMode, thank you for supporting our channel, and come back with soon with quite a few videos. I have many ideas running around me. Talk to you soon.